Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. This is Rick Jacobs.
Hi,
Brown, how are you?
Nice
Rick
to meet
Jacobs.
you.
I'm the chair and founder of the Courage Campaign.
Very good to meet
Good
you.
to meet you.
Yeah.
So you've had quite a
so
tour.
you're the one who did the Attack on the Mormons commercial.
I'm the one who live blogged the trial.
Okay, and the
can I
Attack
ask
on
you
the
a
Mormons.
question? Can you answer a question? There was no attack on the Mormons.
No,
by the way. Can
wasn't
you
that the one where the two Mormons are ransacking someone's house?
You mean the one where people actually testified that there are consequences for bringing infringement of other people's rights?
No, it's the one where you have two Mormons going into someone's house, ransacking their house, ripping up their documents, and you single out a religious organization that's a minority religious organization that's traditionally experienced a lot of prejudice and attacks, and then you do a commercial attacking them. I think that's really unbelievable, and I think it's really low. I think it's really low and unbelievable.
Would you interview me for, or let us comment on your site? Because our site, everything we do is wide open to the public. But you seem to want to control everything. Are you afraid of the American people?
No, that's why we try and get votes, and you try and use the courts.
So the courts are not part of the American system?
Well, when one judge creates out of thin air a right to same-sex marriage out of thin air and goes against all judicial precedent, including the 1971 Baker v. Nelson case, didn't even mention it, then yes, that judge is completely outside.
Well, wait a minute.
Oh, but now you have Judge Walker also saying that the proponents have no right to appeal.
Are the courts
so supposedly Judge Walker has no right to appeal. Judge Walker doesn't believe that there's any right to appeal on the part of proponents.
Have you met my friend Alan Filibuster?
Well, I'm going to answer your questions, and I'm not going to be interrupted. So I'm going to finish each of my thoughts.
You're just talking and talking.
No, I'm talking. I'm answering each question.
Okay, I have a simple question. Why do you try to keep people out, and why do you not have your website open the way ours is? Why are you afraid of interaction with the American people?
We are not. We go directly to the people for 31 votes. We've gone directly to the people for a vote. You, on the other hand, are attempting to use one federal judge to impose his will on the rest of the American public, including all of the states, those 31 states that already have had direct votes. We go directly to the people. What we will not allow are people attempting to intimidate, harass, or shout us down. We won't be intimidated, we won't be harassed, and we're not going to somehow allow you to break up our events or
I've never broken up any of
well, when I say you, I mean people like Queer Action.
Please tell me when I broke up any of your events. Please tell me when anybody with the Courage Campaign was anything other than respectful to you, other than when you tried to have one of us arrested.
Well, at the event, there are plenty of times.
You did try to have one of us arrested.
In Maryland, it was clearly it was very over the top as far as trying to film families with young children who asked not to be filmed, attempting to film me when I had asked because I was on my handheld and needed to do some work. Generally, whoever the cameraman is now has not done that, so I will tell the truth. When someone does something that is clearly outside the lines of civility, then we will call them on it. When they don't, I've been very open with giving you interviews whenever you ask. I've never said I'm not going to give you an interview.
Why did the chief of police of Annapolis, Capitol Police, apologize to us for his policeman trying to arrest somebody that you asked to have removed? Do you know why he did that?
I have no idea.
He told me. I talked to him on the phone. He said that there was a freedom of speech issue and that his policeman didn't act properly. So you clearly do believe in freedom of speech.
I do believe in freedom of speech, but I don't believe that you have the right to interrupt or undermine our freedom of speech. We have the First Amendment right of assembly.
Don't want to do that. I want you to do that. I had a wonderful conversation with Bishop Jackson. I've been on the radio with him before. Had wonderful conversations with Maggie Gallagher, even though I'm not sure she respects the courts very much, but I've had wonderful conversations with her. I have a really basic question, though.
Yes.
Gay men, two gay men with two children. Suppose they're married now, which many are, and they have children. What should happen to that family?
Well, first of all, even if the state decides that it's going to attempt to redefine marriage, marriage remains marriage. Marriage is a pre-political institution. What the state does is recognize something that exists. So two men can never be married. So the fact that there's a piece of paper, the state's saying that, doesn't mean they actually are married. As far as the children, I believe firmly that children do best with both a mother and a father. So I don't think it's right to say that two men or two women are going to function in the same way that a man and woman are going to function united together in marriage.
Practically, the state does define relationships between people. That's what the state does.
Well, it does. It's
does.
actually it's very interesting. Marriage is one of the only deeply personal relationships that the state is at all involved in.
But it does do it.
It only does it for marriage.
But it does
why,
it.
I'm going to ask you a question. Why does it do it for marriage?
It does it for marriage because as Professor Cott said in the trial, it does it for marriage because as marriage has evolved over the years, for example, to allow blacks and whites to marry through court action, to allow women equality in marital relations through court action and through legislation in the 70s, all that's pretty new. That's all evolved.
That's not why the state recognizes.
Oh, well, let me
marriage.
finish. Don't interrupt me.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
I thought you were done.
So the reason the state, quote unquote, regulates relationships through marriage is because, as Professor Cott said in open court under testimony, an expert on marriage, is because well, she did it.
She's a historian
Well,
of
she
marriage.
she did it. She did it.
All right. Well,
Can I finish?
Yes.
Is because that is a means by which the state has understood that it can organize. It's very simple.
Why?
Why?
Why doesn't
Because
the state get involved with say there's a grandparent and a niece that are living together and both are taking care of each other? Why doesn't the state regulate that relationship?
Well, in effect, it kind of does, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does, because it decides whether or not they can have a legal relationship, because the grandmother could adopt.
No, they could have.
But they could adopt.
They could have a legal relationship based on a contract, but they can't have marriage.
No,
And the
no,
reason
but
for
why
that-
would they? Why would a grandmother marry her granddaughter? That'd be bizarre.
Well, part of the reason that you even think that is because deep within us, we understand that marriage is the union of a man and a woman. The reason that the state gets involved in it at all is because of the procreative potential and also the fact that marriage unites together men and women. Social harmony. Men and women are the two great halves of humanity, and the reason marriage is binary at all. Why doesn't Rick Jacobs stand up and say, "I believe in polyamory"?
Because that's ridiculous.
Why not?
But why do you go there?
Because it's a logical extension of your view. If the right to marriage is based upon who I say I love, and I'm being denied my right to marriage.
Are you in favor of
Of course
Mormons,
I'm not.
Having multiple marriages?
No, of course I'm not. And the reason I'm not is because I understand the nature of what marriage is by definition.
And
The
marriage
union of
is
a man
about
and a woman.
family, isn't it?
No, it's
not about
marriage-
family?
Well, of course it's about
Well,
family,
if
but
it's about
the
family,
fundamental
what do we do with those two kids?
the fundamental
and their
basis
fathers?
of
What do we
marriage
do with them?
is the
what do we
union
do?
of one man
That's
and one
your
woman.
basis.
No,
What do we do?
That's not just
What do
mine.
we-
It's
well,
every civilization throughout human history.
Well,
it's
by the
our
way,
entire common law.
by the way, as Professor Cott pointed out and others, if you go back to quote unquote traditional marriage, the first marriages in the Bible were indeed quote unquote polyamorous, and you know that.
Well, they were polygamous, and the
They
central
were.
fact about marriage is that it takes at least one man and one woman.
Well, so you're
to make
okay
a
with
marriage.
having many women and one man?
No, I think that those were huge
Well, that's a
historical
biblical-
mistakes
but
within
it's in the
marriage.
Bible.
Well, again, I'm not making an argument based upon the Bible. I'm making an
Okay.
argument based upon natural reason.
No,
Anyone could look at what marriage is and understand that the reason marriage is what it is because the state has an interest in both bringing men and women together, forming stable relationships between men and women, and connecting them to any children they may have. The fundamental distinction is this: 2 men and 2 women can never naturally have children, period. Men and women coming together can. The state has an interest in this special, unique relationship. And just on that alone is a rational basis for protecting marriage.
Well, apparently it's not. But let's
Well,
go
apparently
back to
according to Judge Walker, but again, that doesn't talk about Baker v. Nelson.
Please,
Yeah, I'll let you do it.
please go back.
I can't do an hour. I'll give you an interview.
But it's not even an interview. It's really a discussion, because
Okay.
you never seem to want to
I've
go to the
answered every
principal question,
question.
which is, do you want to rip families apart?
Of course not. We don't
Okay,
rip
well, then
families
we should-
apart,
then
but
we
the
should-
fact of the matter is that marriage is a unique and special institution that deserves to be protected in law.
So
Period.
in that case, 2 guys with 2 kids
They're not
who are
married.
married, even though they have a certificate that says they're not married.
There is no
that's
such
illegal,
thing
in
as
other words.
same-sex marriage. No,
It's
the
not
state.
illegal.
The state
Well,
can.
then it's
the
legal.
state can give out whatever certificate it wants, but marriage as a pre-political institution is recognized and regulated by the state, but not created by the
So
state.
was
So the
slavery.
state has no interest.
So was slavery.
Well, again, I think you need to if you want to continue to
my
make
people.
one of
So
your
were Jews
arguments
not allowed into this
of course,
country.
and that was wrong. If you want to continue to
And
make
that
one
was
of
a
your
pre-political
arguments
issue.
hijacking the civil rights movement and attempt
How
to
is that a
claim
hijack? How is
that
not letting-
interracial bans on interracial. I'm going to finish my sentence. If you want to continue to claim that bans on interracial marriage are the same thing as marriage is the union of a man and a woman, you can continue to do that, but the American people see through it. The leadership of the African American community, frankly, time and time again, are tired of having having their real sufferings of what happened in the wake of slavery being used to redefine marriage when they do not accept it. It is not the same thing. Laws that banned interracial marriage fundamentally undermined marriage because they were about keeping the races apart and had nothing to do with the central fact that marriage is the union of a man and a woman.
Even though 70% of Americans at the
it
time
wouldn't
of Loving
matter if
versus Virginia,
100%.
Well, because that's almost where we were.
It wouldn't matter if it was
But the
100%.
courts
They were
changed
wrong.
that.
Well, in many places that's
why
not
do you
true.
know that's
Historically,
wrong?
that's
Why
not
do
true.
you know that's
Many
wrong?
places had not
because
through the
70%
courts.
of the people didn't think it was wrong.
You're just talking over me. I need to do
maybe let
this.
him do another interview.
Yeah, you're not. That's not an interview. That's just talking.
I don't
over
want to have an
someone.
interview. I want to have a discussion.
Well, I'm
Set up a time to meet
Yeah.
with Brian in his office.
You've had, it's quite a discussion.
It is. It's difficult to talk with people who understand tautology and not logic,
Yes.
but we do what we can.
Hi, how are you doing? Oh, Lou. So I got another. All of the gay press is coming after me.
Well, that's what
I'm just kidding.
No, we're at the U.S. Capitol at the conclusion of the non-rally. Brian, I just wanted to, this is the last one of the series
It
this
is,
summer.
it is.
What was your assessment of how they went? And was this by far the largest from what I
No.
hear? That
I think you're reading Nom Tour Tracker.